I gave my husband my loyalty. But he shared it with my sister. Now every time I see her, I see the face of my biggest mistake. I need to tell someone what I did. Not for sympathy. Not for forgiveness. Just so someone knows that I'm the person who destroyed everything good in and I did it with my eyes wide open. His name was Marcus. My husband. The man who proposed to me on a beach in North Carolina, while the sun turned the ocean into liquid gold. The man who held my hand through my mother's funeral and never once made me feel like my grief was too heavy. The man I promised forever to in front of 150 people who believed we were different. Special. The kind of couple that makes it. Her name is Veronica. My younger sister. The one I helped raise after Dad left. The one I tutored through college algebra. The one who called me her hero at my wedding and cried harder than anyone when I said, I do. I was 33 when I ruined all of it. Marcus was 35. Veronica was 29. We were all old enough to know better. It started at Marcus's work party. Some tech company celebration at a downtown hotel. The kind with an open bar and a DJ who only played songs from 10 years ago. Marcus had been distant for months. Not cruel. Not angry. Just absent. He worked late. He forgot our anniversary dinner. He stopped kissing me goodbye in the mornings. When I tried to talk about it, he'd apologize and promise to do better, but nothing changed. I told it was stress. His promotion. The new project. Anything but what it actually was. Veronica came with us that night. She'd just broken with her boyfriend of 2 years, and was staying at our place for a few weeks. I thought it would cheer her. I thought it would be fun to have her there. I thought a lot of things. Marcus barely looked at me all night. He was networking, shaking hands, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, playing the game. I stood by the bar with Veronica, drinking that tasted like regret, watching my husband be charming to everyone except me. He's really in his element, Veronica said, and something in her voice made me look at her. She was watching him too. Her eyes had this soft focus, like she was seeing something I couldn't. Yeah, I said. He's always been good at this stuff. We're lucky, she said. Then she looked at me and smiled. He's a good man. I should have heard it then. The past tense hidden in present tense. The weight behind those words. But I was 3 glasses deep and feeling sorry for. So I just nodded and ordered another drink. When we got home that night, Marcus went straight to bed. No conversation. No goodnight kiss. Just the sound of him brushing his teeth, and then the bedroom door, closing like punctuation. On another day of being invisible, I sat in the kitchen with Veronica. She made tea. We talked about her ex, about her job search, about mom. Normal sister stuff. Safe stuff. Then she said something that changed everything. Can I ask something personal? I nodded. And Marcus okay? The question hit different because she already knew the answer. I could see it in her face. She'd been watching. Noticing, cataloging every small distance between us. We're fine. I lied. It's just, he seems really stressed and seems sad. I started crying. Right there at the kitchen table at midnight. Crying. The kind where face gets hot and throat closes. She moved her chair closer and put her arm around me, and I let believe that's all it was. Comfort. Support. Sister love. He doesn't see me anymore. I whispered. I feel like a ghost in my own marriage. She held me tighter. We're not a ghost. We're beautiful and smart and any man would be lucky to have. The words felt good. Too good. Like it I didn't know I needed. I said. I mean it. She said. And when I looked, she was so close I could smell her perfume. The same perfume I'd bought her for Christmas. Deserved to feel special. We stayed like that for too long. Just close enough that it meant something. Just far enough that I could pretend it didn't. That was the first. The second came 2 weeks later. I came home early from work because I had a migraine. The house was quiet. I took some medicine and lay down on the couch in the living room, because the bedroom felt too far away. I must have dozed off because I woke to voices. Low. Careful. Coming from the kitchen. Can't keep doing this. Marcus was saying. I know. Veronica's voice. Soft, sad, but it's hard. It's not fair to her. I know that too. Silence. Long enough that I almost convinced I'd imagined it. Then. We have to tell her. Not yet. Please. Just give me a little more time. Time for what? To figure out what to say. How to say it. She's my sister. I should have walked into that kitchen, and demanded to know what they were talking about. But I didn't. I lay there, frozen, while my brain tried to build innocent explanations that wouldn't stick. When I finally moved, they were in the living room. Veronica saw me first. Her face went white. Hey, she said, too bright. We're awake. Marcus looked guilty. Actually guilty, like a teenager caught with stolen liquor. What's going on? I asked. Nothing. Marcus said. Just talking. About what? They looked at each other. A whole conversation in a glance. Then Veronica said. I was telling Marcus about a job opportunity. In Seattle. I might be moving. It was a good lie. Quick. Plausible. I wanted to believe it. Oh, I said. That's great, yeah. She smiled, but her eyes were wet. It's a really good opportunity. Marcus excused himself. Said he had work to do. Disappeared into his office and closed the door. Veronica made me tea and we talked about Seattle and rent prices, and how much she'd miss me. All of it felt like stage directions. Lines we were reading from a script neither of us wanted to be in. That night, I did something I'd never done before. I checked Marcus's phone while he was in the shower. There were messages. Hundreds of them. But not between him and Veronica. Between him and someone named Sarah. A woman from his office. The messages were explicit. Detailed. Months of them. They'd been sleeping together since June. I put the phone back. Went to bed. Said nothing. Because I'd already decided. If Marcus could do it, so could I. If he could find comfort somewhere else, why couldn't I? If he'd already broken us, what did it matter if I broke us worse? The next morning, I told Veronica I needed her help with something. Could she come with me to look at furniture for the guest room? She said yes. Of course she said yes. She'd always say yes to me. We drove to a furniture store 40 minutes away. Somewhere no one would recognize us. We looked at dressers and bed frames and accent chairs. Normal things. We laughed about weird design choices. We got coffee. We pretended everything was fine. Then in the car, on the way home, I pulled into an empty parking lot behind a closed restaurant. What's wrong? Veronica asked. I turned to face her. I know about Marcus. Her face crumbled. What do you mean? I know he's cheating on me. I saw the messages. Oh my God, she reached for my hand. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be honest with me. Knew. Didn't. She hesitated. Then nodded. I suspected. I wasn't sure. Why didn't tell me? I didn't want to point. We sat there in that parking lot, holding hands, crying. Two sisters sharing pain. And then I did the thing I can never take back. Her. She pulled back immediately. Eyes, shocked. But not disgusted. That's what I told, not disgusted. What are doing? She whispered. I don't know, my voice sounded like someone else's, someone reckless. Someone broken. I need to feel something. Anything other than this. We can't. But she didn't move away. Didn't let go of my hand. We're upset. This isn't what want. How do you know what I want? The words came out sharp. Desperate. Marcus doesn't want me. Maybe nobody wants me, maybe I'm just not enough. That's not true. She was crying harder now. We're everything. Always been everything to me. The way she said it, the weight in those words. I saw it then. Really saw it. This wasn't new for her. This feeling. It had been there all along. Hiding in every hug that lasted too long, every compliment that meant too much. Every time she looked at me like I hung the moon. Veronica. I said. Tell me the truth. Do have feelings for me? She tried to look away but I held her face. Made her meet my eyes. Yes, she breathed. God help me. Yes. I've tried so hard not to. I've dated guys. I've moved away. I've done everything I can make it stop. But it won't stop. Won't stop. I should have driven us home. Should have called a therapist. Should have done literally anything else. But Marcus's betrayal was burning in my chest like acid, and Veronica was looking at me like water in desert, and I wanted so badly to matter to someone that I stopped thinking about consequences. Her again. Longer this time. She me back. We didn't go home. We got a hotel room. One of those generic business hotels off the highway where nobody asks questions. We sat on the edge of the bed. Not touching, both of us shaking. This is wrong, she said. I know. We can't do this. I know. Hayes' husband. He stopped being my husband the moment he chose someone else. That's how I justified it. Like Marcus's cheating gave me permission. Like two wrongs would somehow balance each other out. Like I wasn't about to commit a betrayal so much worse than his that they couldn't even be compared. What happened in that room wasn't passionate or romantic. It was messy and confused, and we both cried through most of it. We kept stopping, kept starting again, kept saying this was a mistake. But we didn't leave. We stayed until the sun went down and our phones were full of missed calls from Marcus asking where we were. We made a story. Said we'd gone to dinner. Lost track of time. Got caught talking. He believed us because why wouldn't he? People who cheat never think their partners are capable of the same thing. For 3 weeks we pretended nothing had changed. Veronica stayed in our guest room. Marcus kept working late. I moved through my days like a zombie, watching from outside my body. At night, when Marcus was asleep, Veronica would text me. Just simple things. Can't sleep. Thinking about. What are we doing? I never had an answer for that last one. Then one night, Marcus came home early. I was in the kitchen making dinner. Veronica was upstairs. He walked in, sat down at the table, and said, "We need to talk." My turn to ice. He knew. Somehow he knew. "Okay," I said, putting down the I'd been using to vegetables. "I've been seeing someone." His voice was flat, clinical. Like he was reading a weather report. "Her name is Sarah. She works in my department. It's been going on for 5 months." I stood there, waiting to feel something. Anger, anything. But all I felt was numb. "I know," I said. He looked surprised. "No. I found the messages weeks ago. Why didn't say anything?" Why didn't? We stared at each other across the kitchen. Two strangers wearing the faces of people who used to be in love. "I want a divorce," he said. "I'm in love with her. I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen, but it did, and I can't keep lying to Pa." "Okay," I said. "Okay?" He looked almost disappointed. Like he'd expected more of a, "That's it? What do you want me to say, Marcus?" That I'm shocked. That are breaking my heart. Stopped loving me months ago. I felt it. I just didn't want to believe it. "I'm sorry," he said again. Useless words. Deserve better than this. "Yeah," I said. "I do." He moved out that weekend. Packed his stuff while I sat on the couch, watching him erase himself from our. Veronica helped him carry boxes to his car. They were polite to each other. Careful. Like they were handling something fragile that might shatter. When he was gone, Veronica came back inside. Sat next to me, put her head on my shoulder. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't be. We're right. It's better this way." What happens now? I turned to look at her. Really look at her. My baby sister. The person I'd protected and guided and loved for 29 years. The person I'd just dragged into the ugliest version of. "Now we figure out what we are," I said. That was the beginning of the worst mistake of my. Not the cheating. Not the betrayal. But what I convinced came next. We tried to date. That's what we called it. Dating. Like we were two normal people who'd met at a coffee shop and decided we liked each other. We didn't tell anyone. How could we? "Hey Mom, remember my husband who just left me?" "Yeah, I'm sleeping with other daughter now." Passed the mashed potatoes. We went to restaurants in other towns. Saw movies in theaters where no one knew us. Held hands in parking lots and pulled apart when we saw someone who looked familiar. It was exhausting. Paranoid. Wrong in ways I couldn't even articulate. But I told it was love. Because if it was love, it wasn't a mistake. If it was love, it wasn't just me trying to Marcus the way he'd me. If it was love, it meant something. The first person who found out was Marcus's mother. She came by the house to drop off some of my things Marcus had forgotten. I answered the door. Veronica was behind me in the hallway. Too close, our body language giving us away before we even opened our mouths. Linda looked at me. Then at Veronica. Then back at me. I watched her face change as she figured it out. Watched the warmth drain away and something cold and terrible take its place. Air too. She couldn't even finish the sentence. It's not what think, I said. The most uselessly ever told, with her. Linda's voice was shaking. Sister, while we're still married to my son, Marcus left me, I said. He cheated first. So that makes this okay. She looked at Veronica with something like horror. She's sister. We're both adults, Veronica said quietly. We can make our own choices. Choices, Linda repeated. She laughed. Actually laughed. Wanna call this a choice? This is sick. Both of. This is sick. She left. Didn't take the box she'd brought. Just got in her car and drove away. I closed the door and slid down it, sitting on the floor while the walls closed in. She'll tell everyone, Veronica said. I know. Friends, family. Everyone's going to know. I know. She sat down next to me. We didn't touch. Didn't speak. Just sat there while the weight of what we'd done finally started to feel real. Linda kept her word. By the end of the week, everyone knew. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Texts from friends asking if it was true. Calls from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, suddenly very interested in my personal. My aunt called me an abomination. My cousin blocked me on every social media platform. My best friend since high school sent me a message that just said, I can't believe, and then nothing else ever again. The worst was my father. The man who'd left when we were kids. The man I'd barely spoken to in 15 years. He called and told me I was a disgrace. That I'd corrupted Veronica. That I was going to and deserved everything coming to me. I wanted to scream at him. To tell him he had no right. But Veronica was listening and she was crying, and I realized that everything he said, some part of me believed, was true. The divorce got. Marcus's lawyer painted me as a predator who'd groomed my younger sister. They tried to argue that my infidelity was worse than his, that it showed moral depravity, that I shouldn't get anything in the settlement, because I'd the sanctity of family. It was brutal and public and designed to me. My own lawyer sat me down and said, need to understand what we're facing. This isn't just about the marriage anymore. This is about reputation. Relationships. Future. Judges are human, they have biases. And what did? It's going to color everything. I settled for almost nothing. Kept the house because Marcus didn't want it anyway. He got most of our savings. The car. The vacation home his parents had helped us buy. I signed the papers and felt nothing. Just relief that it was over. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Veronica moved out 3 months after the divorce was finalized. Not because we fought. Not because one of us found someone else. She moved out because we'd killed whatever we had by trying to make it into something it could never be. We'd mistaken shared trauma for love, loneliness for connection, rebellion for romance. The night she left, we sat in the living room surrounded by boxes. The same living room where Marcus had told me he wanted a divorce. The same living room where I'd made divorce decision of my I love, she said. I need to know that. This wasn't for me? I know. But we can't keep doing this. We're drowning each other. She was right. Every time we looked at each other, we saw what we'd lost. Every family event we couldn't attend. Every friend who'd us off. Every judgment, every whisper, every disgusted look. We'd become each other's scarlet letter. I'm sorry, I said. For all of it. For dragging into my mess. For using to Marcus. For ruining us. Didn't do it alone, she said. I made my choices too. I knew it was wrong and I did it anyway because I wanted more than I wanted to do the right thing. We hugged goodbye. She felt like a stranger. My sister, who I'd known for 29 years, felt like someone I'd never met. After she left, I stayed in that house for 2 more years. Alone. The silence was deafening. No Marcus working late. No Veronica making tea in the kitchen. Just me and the ghosts of every terrible decision I'd ever made. I lost my job 6 months after the divorce. They said it was downsizing, budget cuts. But I heard them whispering. Heard my name attached to words like inappropriate and unstable. Nobody wants to work with the woman who slept with her sister. Nobody wants that energy in their office. I found another job eventually. Data entry for an insurance company. The kind of work that doesn't require talking to people. Where nobody knows story and nobody asks about weekend. I did my work, went home. That was my mother died without speaking to me again. She had a heart in her sleep. Veronica called to tell me. Asked if I was coming to the funeral. I said yes. I shouldn't have. The service was small. Mom's friends. A few distant relatives. Veronica was there with her new girlfriend. A nice woman named Patricia, who looked at me like I was a that might go off. My father came, stood on the opposite side of the room, and pretended I didn't exist. When it was time to speak, Veronica stood and talked about how much Mom had loved us. How she'd sacrificed everything to raise us. How family was the most important thing to her. Every word was every sentence a reminder that I'd destroyed the thing Mom valued most. Nobody asked me to speak. After the service, Veronica approached me in the parking lot. We hadn't seen each other in over a year. How are, she asked. I'm okay, good. Patricia and I are engaged. Congratulations. I meant it. She deserved happiness. She deserved to move on. I wanted to tell. Before heard it from someone else. We stood there in the autumn cold. 2 people who used to share everything now struggling to share even this moment. Do ever think about it? She asked. About what happened, every day. Do regret it? I thought about lying. About saying no to make her feel better. But we'd had enough lies. Yes, not because I don't care about. But because of what it cost. What it took from both of us. She nodded. Tears in her eyes. I said. I miss my sister. I'm right here. No, or not. And I'm the reason why. She didn't argue. We both knew it was true. We'd crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. We'd broken something that can't be fixed. We could be polite to each other at funerals and holidays, but we'd never be sisters again. Not really. Not the way we were. She hugged me. It felt like goodbye. Then she walked back to Patricia and I watched them drive away together. I'm 40 years old now. 7 years since everything fell apart. I live in a different city. Smaller, cheaper. Where nobody knows my story unless I tell them. I don't tell them. I tried dating once. Met a man on an app. He was kind. Funny. Asked good questions. We went out 3 times before he asked about my family. I gave him the sanitized version. Said my sister and I weren't close. Said my marriage ended badly. He must have seen something in my face because he didn't ask for details. On the 4th date, he asked what the worst thing I'd ever done was. It was one of those getting to know questions. Meant to be playful. Revealing. I looked at him and realized I could never tell him the truth. That I'd carry this secret forever or watch him look at me. The way everyone else had looked at me. I went home that night and deleted the app. Haven't tried since. Marcus remarried. I saw the announcement on social media before I finally blocked one from my old. He married Sarah. They looked happy in the photos. Her in a white dress. Him smiling like he'd never smiled at me. They have a baby now, I think. I don't check anymore. It's better not to know. Veronica and Patricia got married 2 years ago. I wasn't invited to the wedding. I didn't expect to be. I sent a card. Never heard back. She has it good now. A wife who loves her. A teaching job she's passionate about. She's rebuilding what we destroyed. I'm glad. One of us should get a happy ending. I see a therapist now. Every other week. She knows everything. The cheating. The betrayal. The relationship with Veronica. She doesn't judge, but I can see the effort it takes. She asks me why I did it. What I was thinking. What I was feeling. I tell her I was angry, lost. That I wanted to Marcus the way he'd me. That I wanted to feel wanted. That I confused damage with connection. She asks me if I've forgiven. I haven't. I don't think I ever will. Because here's what nobody tells about being the villain in own story: don't get to move on. Don't get to explain in a way that makes sense. Don't get redemption or growth or a second chance at being the person used to be. Just get to live with it. Every single day. The weight of what did. The people, the bridges burned. The could have had if made different choices. I destroyed my marriage. I destroyed my relationship with my sister. I destroyed my family. And I did it all. Marcus's cheating gave me an excuse, but it didn't make me do what I did. That was all me. My choice, my betrayal. People ask me sometimes if I'd do anything differently if I could go back. I tell them yes. I tell them I'd get in my car that day, drive home alone, file for divorce, and start over like a normal person. I tell them I'd protect my sister, instead of using her as a weapon against my husband. But the truth is darker than that. The truth is that some part of me wanted to do it. Wanted to everything down. Wanted to be the worst version of, just to see what it felt like. And that's the part I can't forgive. The part that chose destruction when I could have chosen healing. I'll never get my sister back. Not really. Every time I see her name on a family email chain, every time someone mentions her in passing, I see the face of my biggest mistake, not because she was a mistake, but because of what I made her into. What I made us into. I gave my husband my loyalty until he broke it. Then I shattered what was left and handed the pieces to the one person who should have been protected from my damage. Now I live in a one-bedroom apartment in a city where nobody knows my name, and every morning I wake alone, and every morning I remember that this is exactly what I deserve. Some mistakes don't teach lessons. They just teach how to live with regret. And if we're reading this thinking betrayal won't destroy everything, that situation is special or wrong, we're exactly like I was. And one day I'll be exactly where I am, wondering how mistook burning down for keeping warm.